So there we have it, the end of another season. Season 3 is now complete. And why is it complete? Because I said it is. You see, I never have a fixed agenda coming into each of these seasons. This was a particular season that I decided to put together because I'm locked down in my cabin and that I was quarantined here through this period of time like many of you were as we responded to the effects of COVID-19. I took the time to be able to introduce you to some of the great friends that I've met along the way, and I hope that you managed to be able to take at least one or two things from each of the interviews. I know I learned a lot. Let's just take a moment to be able to respond and recap to some of the experiences that we went through. We kicked off with Marcus Sheridan. The great Marcus Sheridan talked to us about the power of integrity. My guess is if you listen to that episode, you've got a take on integrity that maybe is different to what you had prior to your listen. And Marcus is continuing to go on and do great work, and even following that interview has achieved a number of wonderful things over these last couple of weeks. We went from Marcus to Kate O'Neill, and Kate O'Neill talked humanity, and my goodness, that warmed my heart. My goodness, what did I do is I got an insight into just how complex this world is that we are working within right now, and listening to Kate talk about the intersection of technology and humanity and the impact that's having on the world right now gives me every confidence that we can shape this world out in a way that is more the kind of world that we like to live in. Amy Port talked about performance. And not just our performance on our stage, but our performance on the stage of life. What it is to mean to be a great performer, how we can go about measuring and managing our own performance in the moments that matter. And not only that, she brought a huge heart, huge vulnerability towards that conversation and gave me skills to be able to up my game. Chris Ducker of Youpreneur talked to us about how we could increase our productivity. I mean, given the fact that the guy owns and operates a number of virtual assistance businesses, wrote the book on how you can be able to get more stuff done, I thought he would be a wonderful guest teaching us to be able to achieve more in less time. And boy, did he deliver. Chris Ducker is such a practical, tactical guy, full of great advice that we can use. And that episode gave me a number of tips that even through this period of time meant that I achieved more, whilst in an environment that is very, very unfamiliar to me from a work point of view. Mark Bowden, and dare I say it from a position of bias, was probably my most fun interview. Why? Because that we got the chance to be able to break bread, share information at the end of our conversation about lying, which is a topic that we almost never get the chance to be able to talk about. But we broke out in the end where we could share our passion with art, talk about the impact that art has, forgeries within the world of art, talk about things like Banksy, talk about things like Mr. Brainwash, and my goodness, I can't wait to hang out with Mark again in person soon and continue that conversation. Sylvie DeGiusto gave us the insights around the word image and how important it is to understand just how much we're being judged. Like, you're being judged, I'm being judged, everything we post is providing a huge amount of judgment. And in the world that we're currently living in, as high pressure as it currently is, with as much energy charging, it's probably more important than ever we consider how we're being perceived, we consider the impact of our actions, and we pay huge attention towards the image that we are portraying through our actions, through our behaviors, through the decisions that we are making ahead of time. Alison Stratton gave us an insight into the word family by talking to us about how she has built her family. Seeing her family grow together through this time has brought me huge joy, and knowing that what she has is she has the congruence to be able to live what she teaches. I mean, just yesterday, I saw the most beautiful photograph shared by her and her husband of their wonderful family unit, and know that what they've been able to do for each other through these times is find one of the many gifts in this crisis. They found a level of togetherness. They've amplified and educated so many people of what it means to be a great family and what it means to be able to live those family values, which I know lots of people that have experienced through these times right now, is getting closer to the people they love and really understanding who the people are that are worthy of their attention. David Horsager gave us insight into the word trust. We learned, as we think about the true currency in decision-making, that trust is probably one of the most underrated and possibly the most important thing that goes into the calculation of every important decision. David taught us how we can build more trust, walked us through the pillars of being a trusted leader, and gave you some of the tools that you can use to mean that you can identify where trust is missing. You can add statements and information to be able to make sure that you are seen as a more trusted individual, and learn to be able to appreciate that trust is a true currency to be considered with high intent. And then we got to the final stretch of episodes. In the final 3 episodes, we got to chat with my buddy John Ruling. And John Ruling was a fun interview. Why? Because I put him on the spot thinking about his area of expertise of gifting in a very different way. The word we chose to discuss was the word present. And all connotations of that word, from a presentation, from being present to giving a present, and everywhere in between. And it was fun to see John get mildly uncomfortable in the conversation as he had to put his brilliant mind around the subject in a way he hadn't considered. And he delivered gold after gold after gold. And as we unpacked what's a great gift and what's a terrible gift, I think you must have got some ideas about how you can do a better job of gifting presence to people in the moments where it really matters. Clay Hebert, Mr. Perfect, he gave us a conversation around clarity. As we discussed clarity, my hope is that you found more clarity. You understand how you can add more clarity to your messaging, how you can be a more effective communicator by thinking in forms of clarity. Clay is such a smart guy. I'm so blessed to have him as one of my many friends. And I always enjoy the ability to be able to dive into a conversation about how we can market more effectively. And speaking on the topic of marketing, our final guest from this season was my dear friend, Jimmy Mackin. Jimmy is the founder of Curator, is excessively, importantly, throwing himself into how the real estate industry can market at this very moment in time. And his mind around marketing is one of the sharpest that I've had the ability to be in the same room as. So to talk to Jimmy about marketing and take it in a way that is bigger than his typical reach within the world of real estate was a fun conversation. And knowing that Jimmy has interviewed me probably somewhere like a dozen times, I loved finishing the season by me being able to turn the tables on him and ask him some of the questions that I've been so longing to be able to ask him. So Jimmy packed in a huge amount of value. And I think if you're listening to that, not only do you understand more about how to market, you can become a better marketer from listening to that conversation. And even understanding who our idols are in the world of marketing, and why I think Ed Sheeran is perhaps one of the finest marketers of our generation. If you haven't listened to the show, go back and listen. That was season 3. My friends sharing some information about a simple word and how they're relating it to the period of time when many of us were locked up in quarantine, many of us were away from our loved ones. And while I was away from my friends, I thought the best thing I could do is introduce them to you. I hope you enjoyed season 3. Things are going to change up a little for next season. And I believe that what we're going to do next is less about something that you're going to like and more about something that you need to listen to. So until next time, I hope you've enjoyed season 3. I hope you've enjoyed getting to meet some brilliant people. And I'm remarkably excited for the impact that could be achieved by me introducing to you what comes next. Thank you once again for listening, and see you again soon. Take care.